August 18, 1590. A governor named John White steps off a longboat onto the shore of Roanoke Island. He left more than 100 people here 3 years ago. His daughter, his granddaughter, an entire colony. Now the houses are gone, not burned, not broken, taken apart, board by board, and carved into a wooden post at the edge of the settlement, one word, Croatoan. You're listening to The Unlit Room. Every story in here actually happened. That's the part that should scare you. New stories every day, Monday through Saturday. Today, how a colony of English settlers vanished from an island and left a single word behind. Roanoke Island sits just off the coast of what's now North Carolina. In the 1580s, it's the far edge of the known English world. Sir Walter Raleigh holds a charter from Queen Elizabeth to plant a colony there. He pays for the ships. He never sets foot on the island himself. The man who actually leads the settlers is John White. He's an artist and a mapmaker, not a soldier. And in the summer of 1587, he brings something no English colony has had before: families, men, women, and children. More than 100 of them. The colony is barely a month old when White's granddaughter is born. Her name is Virginia Dare. She's the first English child born in the Americas. 9 days later, her grandfather gets on a ship and sails away. He doesn't want to go. The colonists insist. They're already short on supplies, and White is the one man with the standing to argue for more back home. The plan is simple: sail to England, load up, come back before winter. It should have been a quick trip. A few months, there and back. White had crossed the Atlantic before. He knew the route. What he didn't know was that history was about to get in his way. The year White sails home, England goes to war with Spain. Every seaworthy ship is seized for the defense of the realm. The Spanish Armada is coming. There's nothing to spare for a struggling colony on the other side of the ocean. Months become a year. 1 year becomes 3. White stands on the docks in England, watching a war swallow every chance he has to go back. August 18, 1590. White finally returns. It's his granddaughter's 3rd birthday. From the water, the landing party sees smoke rising over the island. Their hopes lift. Someone must still be here. They were wrong. The smoke is just a brush fire, and the settlement they walk into is empty. Here's what makes Roanoke different from a massacre. Nothing's destroyed. The houses have been carefully dismantled, taken apart, as if the people who built them had time and a plan. A new wall of tree trunks rings the old settlement like a fort. White's own belongings have been dug up out of the ground where he'd buried them. His armor's rusted, his books are rotted, his maps are torn, but there are no bodies, no graves, no blood. The colonists simply aren't there. And then White sees it, carved into one of the posts at eye level. Croatoan. On a nearby tree, 3 letters, as if cut in a hurry, CRO. To us, it's a riddle. To John White, it's an address. Croatoan was a real place, an island about 50 miles south, today called Hatteras. It was home to the Croatoan people, led by a man named Man Teo, an ally of the colony. Man Teo had even sailed to England and back. The colonists hadn't left a mystery. They'd left a forwarding address. Before White ever sailed for England, he and the colonists had agreed on a code. If they had to leave Roanoke, they'd carve the name of the place they were going, and if they left in danger, forced out, attacked, starving, they'd carve a cross above it, a Maltese cross, a distress signal. White searches the post. He searches the tree. There's no cross. By his own agreement, that meant one thing. His family hadn't been dragged away. They hadn't been slaughtered. They'd chosen to go, calmly, deliberately, to the island of a friendly people 50 miles south. He believed they were alive, and he couldn't get to them. A storm rolls in that same night. The ship loses an anchor. The crew won't risk the shallows around Croatoan. The captain turns for England. John White never crosses the Atlantic again. He dies a few years later, never knowing what became of his daughter or the granddaughter he'd held for 9 days. The answer may have been 50 miles away. Nobody ever went to look. So what happened to them? For more than 4 centuries, people have argued about it. There's no proven answer, only theories, each with some evidence and each with holes. The first follows White's own reading. The colonists assimilated, moved in with the Croatoan people, and were absorbed over generations. The carving points that way, and centuries later, some members of the Lumbee people of North Carolina described ancestors said to be European. There's oral tradition. There's no confirmed DNA. A second theory is darker. A Jamestown official named William Strachey wrote decades afterward that a powerful chief named Pow had confessed to killing some of the Roanoke settlers. But Strachey was writing second-hand, years after the fact. No physical evidence has ever backed it up. A third theory blames the weather. Tree ring studies published in 1998 found that those exact years were the worst drought the region had seen in roughly 800 years. Crops would have failed. But the colonists had allies who knew how to live off that land. And a fourth points inland, to a patch of ground in Bertie County, North Carolina, that archaeologists call Site X, where 16th century English artifacts have turned up. Some of the colonists may have split off and moved north. The dating is disputed. Maybe the hardest part of Roanoke isn't that the colony vanished, it's that it might never have been lost at all. They left a message, clear, deliberate, exactly as agreed. Croatoan. No cross, we're safe, and this is where we've gone. They did everything right. And then a war, a storm, and a lost anchor meant that nobody came. The lost colony may not have been lost. It may just have been a family waiting on an island 50 miles away for a man who couldn't reach them. If this one kept you up tonight, good. New stories every day, Monday through Saturday. Subscribe so the next one finds you too. Follow the Unlit Room wherever you listen. Tell a friend who can't sleep. Full story on the main channel. Follow if you're wide awake. That was the Unlit Room. See you in the dark.